Hello guys and welcome to this our English class, and today we are talking about something which is very important and very interesting, and that is the passive voice. Okay, passive voice is the same as in Spanish, voz pasiva. Okay, so we will check some of the let's say importance of the passive voice and the usage of it. Okay, and we will have this short introduction to what passive voice is and how we can use it. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy, and let's start. Okay, so here we have, it says passive voice, and first it says um, it is a structure that we can use or when we don't want to specify who did the action or who made the action. So for passive voice, what you have to understand is that sentences don't have a subject because the real subject, I mean, who did the action, is not important, or because we don't know who was the one who did it. Okay, so in this case, the emphasis is actually not on the subject but on the object. Okay, of the sentence. I will give you a quick example. Okay, let's suppose that I have my cell phone here. Okay, so this is my cell phone, and in this case, I can say, for example, I'm just giving you an example. I can say, my mother called me. Okay, my mother called me on my cell phone. Yes, good. That is just a quick sentence, a quick example. My mother called me on my cell phone. Okay, but if I don't know who did it, I can just say I got a call. I got a call. Okay, or I received a call, or a call was made to me, etc., etc. All of that is passive voice. In that case, I don't know who is doing the action. I don't know who is calling me. Okay, so that is a very good example. You can also see this, or you can hear about passive voice a lot in news reporters. Okay, news reporters normally use a lot of passive voice because normally they don't know who is the person which is responsible of the action that they are talking about. Okay, good. So let's go on. It says also it is used in a completely different way for the active voice, because active voice is what we use in most sentences. Okay, most of the sentences, they should have this structure, which is subject, verb, and complement. In passive voice, we also have a subject and we also have a verb, but the subject normally is not the person who does the action, but is the person who receives the action. Okay, so we don't have a subject. Sorry, we don't have yes, we don't have a subject which is the real subject in passive voice, because the real subject normally is eliminated from the sentence because we don't know who it is. Okay, so we're going to check some examples. Okay, so the first example says, I read a book every year. I read a book every year. So we're going to go slowly analyzing this sentence. So if I ask you, who's the subject in this sentence? I read a book every year. You're gonna tell me, teacher, the subject is I. Of course, yes, this is my subject, I, because I am the one who is doing the action of the verb. Now I ask you, what is the verb in this sentence? Well, the verb is read. Okay, read. So if you have the subject, if you already identify the subject and you identify the verb as well, whatever you have left is the complement, as I've said before in classes. Okay, you have subject, verb, and the rest is complement. But inside this complement you have an object. What is an object? Well, the object receives the action of the verb. In this case, the verb is read. So the object of the sentence is that thing that is read by someone. Okay, so if I ask the question, what do I read? The answer to that question is going to be the object. In this case, what is the answer? If I tell you, you have this sentence, I read a book every year, and then I ask you, what do I read? The answer is a book. So a book is the object of my sentence. And because it is the object of my sentence, it will be the subject on the passive voice or on the passive sentence. So the sentence is going to start always with the thing that receives the action. It doesn't matter if it is a person, it doesn't matter if it is an object or anything else, okay? A thing, it doesn't matter. The action is going, or the sentence is going to start like this. Okay, so you're going to start the sentence with a book. That is the same thing that we have down here. A book. Then you are going to add verb to be, always. Verb to be, we added here, even though it was not in the previous sentence, okay, it was not there, but we are adding it here. So a book is, and then why do we use is? Because this is the third person singular for things, okay? We have to follow the same rules, okay? If the object were I, then the verb to be is going to be am, okay? If the object were she or he, then the verb to be is going to be is, okay? And so on. And so we have a book is, and then we are going to keep the verb in the tense that we had, okay? Sorry, in the past tense. Okay, we're gonna put the verb, the main verb, we're gonna put it in past tense. In this case, it doesn't matter because the verb doesn't changes, okay, the way it's written, but this is past. Okay, so we have present in the verb to be and past in the main verb. So it says, a book is read every year. Okay, in Spanish, we would say, yo leo un libro todos los años. I read a book every year. And in the passive would be un libro es leído todos los años o cada año. In English, a book is read every year. Okay? Good. So now I want you to analyze this. Remember, in this case, the subject is receiving the action of the verb, and we also have verb to be. So those are two very good clues because we have verb to be and we have another verb, which is the main verb. Okay, in this case, verb to be is like an auxiliary. So those are two very good clues to identify any passive voice sentence. Okay, so now I want you to think and I want you to tell me which of the following sentences is passive voice and which of the following sentences is active voice. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a few minutes or seconds for you to read it. Okay, and then you can tell me which sentence is active, which sentence is passive. Okay? Good. So the first one says, an asteroid was discovered last year. An asteroid was discovered last year. The second one says, John discovered an asteroid last year. So as I know that you don't fully or completely identify passive voice already, I want you to identify the active voice because it's the one that you are most commonly used to identifying, okay? So the first one, if I said an asteroid was discovered last year, what is the verb in this sentence? Or in the second sentence, what do you think is the verb? The verb is going to be discover, okay? Discover, descubrir o descubierto o descubrir, okay? So in the first sentence, it says an asteroid, un asteroide, un meteorito, fue descubierto el año pasado. Y en la segunda oración dice, John descubrió un asteroide, un meteorito el año pasado. ¿Cuál de las dos creen ustedes que será voz activa y cuál será voz pasiva y por qué? Are you ready? Si no estás listo, puedes pausar el video, okay? If you're not ready, you can pause the video. If you want to check the answer, we will have it right now. Okay. So as you can see, the passive voice is the first sentence. Why? Because the object actually is the asteroid. The asteroid is what receives the action of the verb. What is the action of the verb? Being discovered. Okay? Si yo le pregunto a ustedes, ¿qué fue lo que fue descubierto? El objeto sería el asteroide, ¿verdad? Que fue lo que descubrieron. ¿Y quién lo descubrió? Ese sería mi sujeto. Entonces el sujeto es John. John fue el que descubrió el asteroide o el meteorito el año pasado. Por lo tanto, esta última oración, que no está aquí identificada, es la voz activa, ¿ok? Es la que normalmente utilizamos para hablar cuando tenemos una estructura normal de sujeto, verbo y complemento, ¿ok? Y la voz pasiva es cuando no nos importa quién lo hizo. Puede ser porque no sea relevante, no sea importante, no hace falta. Porque si yo les digo a ustedes, por ejemplo, John descubrió un asteroide, ¿ok? ¿Quién es John? Okay, that is not relevant, it's not important. The important part of the story is that somebody discovered an asteroid and then an asteroid was discovered last year. Okay, so that is the important part of the story. Yes? Cool. So you can copy these examples if you want, and then we're going to check the patterns. Okay, I'll give you some time. Okay, now we're going to check the patterns. It says patterns for active voice and patterns for passive voice, which is more or less where I was talking about a few minutes ago, okay? So patterns is the way that we build sentences in active or passive, okay? So in active voice, we follow always the same pattern, okay? We have subject, verb, and complement, but we have the doer of the action, the one that does the action of the verb. Then we have the action, which is what they do, okay? What this person does, is writing in this case, okay? So what did Alex do? He wrote something, okay? And then we have the receiver of the action. In this case, the receiver of the action is, as I said, what was written by Alex, okay? So the receiver of the action. What did Alex write? Alex wrote an essay, okay? An essay on Alzheimer's, or an essay on, I don't know, economy, whatever you want to say, okay? So in this case, this is the thing that receives the action, okay? The action of writing. So that is the active voice that you normally have and that you normally write, okay? Alex, he wrote the essay on Alzheimer's, okay? He was the author of the essay on Alzheimer's, okay? In the passive voice, we have the opposite, because we're going to talk about the receiver of the action first, as you can say, the essay on Alzheimer's, okay? We're going to keep it at the beginning. So we have the essay on Alzheimer's. Then we have to have verb to be, always verb to be, as I said before, okay? Was, because it's just one thing, is one essay. So because of that, was. And then the past participial of the main verb. If we had the past simple here, wrote, we're going to add the past participle, which is written. So the essay on Alzheimer's was written by Alex, okay? We can put who did it after by, or if you don't want to talk about who did it, you can eliminate it, okay? You can just leave the sentence like that. The essay on Alzheimer's was written, and that's it. So you don't have to say who did it. It's not mandatory that you do it, okay? Good. So if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, if you're still not clear about what I just or what we were just talking about, you can watch the video again, okay? You can watch it slower. You can check the examples again, or you can also communicate with me. Remember that I'm your teacher. I'm here to help you, okay? And I will be happy to answer to your questions, okay? But now for this video, we're gonna do a small practice, okay? Only 5 sentences. So we have arrived to the practice time. This time, I want you to do the exercises, okay? We will check them together, but these exercises, I want you to send them through our virtual classroom, okay? You will have a space to send all of the exercises, okay? I will be checking them, so you can take pictures when you're done with them, and you can send them to the virtual classroom, okay? So here you have 5 sentences. They are all in active voice, okay? Which is what you already know, and you have to change it to passive voice, okay? To do so, you're gonna identify who is the first or the main subject. In this case, let's use number 1 as an example. The subject is they, okay? And then the verb is offer, okay? So you're going to identify the subject and the verb. Then you have to identify the object, or who receives the action. What is that they are offering? Okay. And then you're going to write down that at the beginning. Okay. You're going to start with the object, then you're gonna put verb to be, okay, and then the verb in participial, depending on the tense of the sentence, okay. So try to do them, and I can check them later, okay. Send them to the virtual classroom, and I will be checking them, okay. I wish you a lot of success, and remember that if you have any questions, you can always text me or communicate with me, okay. I will be happy to clarify all of your doubts or all of your questions, okay. I have nothing else to say. Just I hope you have learned something about passive voice and you have enjoyed this class. And I will see you around in the following opportunity. Okay? See you later. Have a nice